Hello, everybody. My name is RODGON. I am an artist. I'm a designer. I'm a teacher. And I happen to just start a new sketchbook. We just started a new sketchbook, and this started at like 3 in the morning. I couldn't sleep, so I decided that I was going to start drawing cool stuff on my sketchbook. Sit down, buddy. No. Hey, sit down. So, how are I? How am I? I'm doing great. Having quite a nice day so far. I slept for a couple hours, and now I'm just hopping back into streaming. So, how about we start tackling some stuff? So, whenever I start a new sketchbook, buddy, you gotta take your squeakers outside, okay? Whenever I start a new sketchbook, I like to make sure that I set a theme for the entirety of the book. The other ones that we have done have been based on anatomy, they have been based on perspective, they have been based on foundations, they have been based on more of the elemental things that we normally have to require to do. But I want to delve a little bit more into the creative mind process now. Now that we understand a little bit of basic anatomy and basic conceptual work, now we can distort that. Now that we have access to a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of basics, and if you guys are just new to me and you guys have never come and like seen me and drawn with me, you guys just need to go brush up on some videos, go check on YouTube, go check on any of my social media pages. I have thousands of tutorials for you guys, from little tiny tips to extensive 2 hour long videos that talk about certain topics. So the knowledge is there. So if you guys want to be able to catch up with us and you guys want to be able to know the things that we do, it's not going to take you long because I explain things well. And just pick and choose one of the videos and start drawing. And I promise you'll get better. And I guarantee that you will be a better artist by the time you finish watching a handful of my videos. Because I'm that cool. I have confidence in what I do. And I've always said that drawing itself is not my little superpower, right? It's a little superpower, but it's not my superpower. Mine is talking. Mine is communication. Mine is relatability. I'm essentially the equivalent of what a cult leader would be if a cult leader was a good person. Charming, nice, and kind. And I won't take your money. So, you guys are welcome to learn from me. I give out pretty much all the aspects of my knowledge. I don't gatekeep pretty much absolutely anything. I like making sure that our future generations are future-proof from restarting again. Like every single time that a new generation of artists comes up, they have to relearn everything from scratch. How the fuck are we going to progress? How are we going to ever progress? How are we ever going to make amazing, majestic new versions of media if every time we make our youth start from scratch instead of picking up the save file wherever we left it? You know what I mean? So if we don't foment that into our youth, they're not going to do that to their youth. And then the cycle repeats over and over and over, and there's never any progression. Hey, RODGON stream on my birthday. Happy birthday from RODGON onto you. Happy birthday. I hope you have more too. Yay! Woohoo! Happy birthday, dude. Happy B-Day. A table and everything. Even plates. We'll give you some plates. All right, who wants a slice? Who wants a slice? All right, it's chocolate though, so make sure that hey, Patricia, you can't have chocolate. All right, remember that. Remember last time. Happy birthday, man. So we are not in our normal time slot, so we're not gonna get a ton of people here. But if you guys want to help me get more likes and more views, all you have to do is like and share the stream. Okay, I came here a little late because I stayed up a little late drawing with you guys. So I kind of missed the chance for the big rush, but that doesn't mean much because it just means other people get to enjoy our lessons today. Okay, even if it's a smaller amount, everybody in the morning normally gets me in the morning. So now you guys get me. And that's kind of cool. Sometimes it's awesome to mess up and sleep in. Sometimes it ends up working out. So, what would you guys like to learn today? What would you guys like to learn? If you guys start putting things in the chat, I will choose one of them from all the topics and I will give you guys a lesson based on that. Whatever I start seeing pop up the most is the one that I will choose. But if you guys want to start doing that, that way I can start making my decision as to what we will be learning on today's lesson. Body structures. Okay. I know you already said how to do bodies, but still. Okay, so bodies so far. Bodies has a couple tallies. We're also going to start doing segmented days. Well, what does that mean? That means that on certain days, I'm going to focus on specific things. And I want to start doing my Pinup Tuesdays again. I want to start doing Pinup Tuesdays, and I want to start I don't know if you guys saw the last one that I uploaded, but it was a Velma sketch. I want to do more popular characters like that, tattooed ladies, so that I can promote my pinup book more. So if you guys have a popular character that you guys would like me to draw in a specific, like, super cool, tattooy, sexy way, let me know. I have Shaggy, Velma, and Daphne so far. Shaggy, Velma, and Daphne. I haven't made Fred, but I don't know. I've never really liked Fred as a character. Like, I didn't even know Fred was a character until later. I was like, oh, is he like a side character? Like, what the fuck does he do? Like, he was never really a personality that I enjoyed. Okay, so the arrow, that's the body. You want to see Shaggy? I'll post it on my Instagram later. Okay, so let's see. Bodies. Blessed the people. Dude, keep your religious stuff out of this. Do not bring any religion, politics, or issues into my stream. This is a safe zone for everybody. And if you start with your religious nonsense, other people are gonna feel uncomfortable. So please do not post religious, political, or social issues that you have. Leave that shit to your real life. Right now, we're in our imagination. So fuck off with your real life shit. This is not what we want to deal with when we're drawing. Deal? All right? So I'm going to remove your comment because I don't want to be doing that. Let's see. Might just have to mute you. Sorry. I don't know any other options, and my mods aren't here, so just don't start with that shit. Because I will just put a stop to it immediately. So, body structures. So, if you guys want to learn how to draw the body, it's not a very complicated process. But the actual act of mastering it is going to take you a while. If we take two little elements, like an egg or like a little oval, and an arrow, we have the ability to draw a rib cage and some pelvic bones really easy. Okay, the pelvic bones are created by just drawing a little circle going around an arrow that you draw coming out of your rib cage. So you draw 2 circles and you have hip bones. From there, you can draw cylinders or whatever you want to be able to draw a thigh. And then from there, draw a straight line or a cylinder from your kneecap to your foot. This looks a little weird, right? It looks like a chicken leg or something. But the moment that you finish it with the muscles behind the leg, it looks like a nice leg. The reasoning for something like this being able to work is because your leg muscles work like such. Your thigh is a big voluminous muscle, and it connects to your booty and your hip bones. Okay? From there, your shin comes from your kneecap. So you have a big cylinder that's in the front of your leg. This is on the front of your leg. Okay? It's not in the back, it's in the front. That's why you can just draw a straight line. From there, your foot connects to that bone on the bottom. And normally your bones fan out a little bit. From there, the muscle for your calf is behind this cylinder. It's always going to be behind that. There's no volume coming in the front. So you don't need to draw anything in the center. No, your guideline is always going to be in the front. If you keep that in mind, all you have to worry about is drawing the thigh accurately, and then this bottom part is just given to you. You don't have to overthink it at all, like at any stage. So a lot of the times we overthink things and we overcomplicate stuff when it's really a lot easier than you might think. So once you find this arrow gives you your underwear line. Right? You have a little bit of space for your goodies, and you have yourself the spacing for your legs. Again, you can do it into a circle, into a cylinder, into your foot, into a cylinder, into your foot, and then add the muscles as needed after. So you don't have to complicate things, but you can make them hard if you want. That's an option. You can always choose to make it harder, but do you really need to? No. Arrow, circles, thigh, shin, foot, calf. Your upper body, if you just draw your head, you can just fill this in with a little rib cage. And you can give yourself bodies of any size, I guess, but make sure to keep them proportional if you want to have them look like nice. Like, don't squish them in here. It looks like it's missing body parts. Okay. He has books. Yes, I do have books. And I have a YouTube channel. So if you guys go to YouTube and just look for RODGON. Just RODGON. You don't have to search RODGON the artist, RODGON tutorials. No, I'm popular. I'm actually well known. So you guys can just search for that. And don't forget to like and share the stream. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Sit down. Okay, let me get your money. And go fetch, motherfucker. I need a better rug for my desk. Anyways, that was the moose. Yeah, he's doing great. Moustache is cute as fuck. Today we're gonna go to San Diego. We're gonna go practice some pool because we have our championships tomorrow. We got to cities So we have to compete at a very high level, and then I have it for 8-ball and 9-ball. So I have 2 weeks of continuous, really, really high-end pool playing, which is kind of cool. Kind of cool to know that I'm good at things outside of just art. That has always been my dilemma with me. Finding value in the things that I do outside of my career in art. Buddy, every time that I'm trying to talk philosophically, you just start squeaking. Damn it, mustache. You're trying to break the ice here? Yeah? I know, buddy, I know. So if you guys can see, you can pose these in any direction you want. It doesn't matter if you want to pose your leg up or you want to pose your leg down. You have the ability to move them in any direction you feel like. You gotta just learn how to overlap your lines. If you learn how to overlap lines, you can create a lot of depth without much anatomy or anything. You don't really need to learn anatomy if you learn overlapping lines. Well, you should still. You should obviously still learn anatomy, but you don't absolutely require it, right? You can always make really nice overlapping lines that kind of resemble the shape of legs, and you guys can get away with this for years. The same thing with arms. If you just learn how to overlap your lines, you can generate hands, you can generate folds, you can generate depth, you can generate posing, you can generate anything you really want. You don't need to know anatomy to do these things. It helps, but it's not absolutely necessary. Okay? The concept of overlapping your lines is way more important than learning how to draw something with muscle fibers and your muscles, right? Okay? The act of overlapping a line is very powerful because it's not just things like hands and fingers, it's your arms and it's your hands and your legs, and every aspect of your body is essentially controlled by overlapping lines. And if you learn how to use them, you have the ability to make movements, storytelling, and all those elements a lot easier on yourself. Okay? And it's not always going to be just a nice flat surface, which is why it's easier to just think of everything like a beanbag and just know that you can move that beanbag and just have to find the sequence to find that beanbag. Everything is a beanbag. Everything is. You just need to learn how to adapt your art to fit within that. But everything is a beanbag into another beanbag, into another beanbag, into another beanbag. Everything is a beanbag. Everything's a beanbag when you draw with a rod. Right? So everything is just overlapping lines, and you don't even need shadows or shading. When you learn to draw with overlapping lines, you don't need shadows to create depth. As a matter of fact, shadows they'll be the easiest thing in the world because you'll know how to subdivide things later. So once you learn subdivision, it's kind of like filling in the blanks. So as you learn about shapes, you'll learn how to shape things naturally, but you need to learn volume before you do that. You sit down right now. If I don't stream, you don't eat. So you gotta behave. All right, so no, you haven't missed the lesson. We're just talking about it right now. So a lot of the times people overcomplicate things in general. Like the human structure, it's not a very complicated structure. We have 2 legs that come from the sides of our body, and then they have depth. We have two arms that come from the top of our body, and then they have depth. In between our arms, we have our head. Right? If we don't think too hard about it, it becomes easy to be able to move these simple concepts around. You don't have to think of every single muscle fiber to be able to tell a story. Not even to draw an interesting pose. Okay? All you have to know is how the body connects and how the flow of the body works. Just so you know, on this side, I'm not distracted by your baby. No, I think people like the squeakers. Sit down. No jumping on me. You gotta stop doing it. And so, understanding the flow of your body and how it works tends to be the only thing you really need to learn to be able to understand how the body is gonna work. You don't have to overcomplicate it. It's always gonna come out of that sphere. Your legs are always gonna be the front and the back of your body, and your arms are always gonna flow from the top of your rib cage. It's always gonna happen. Okay? So even when you start going into slightly more complex shapes, the same concept applies, right? You have the outside of your body that connects. Sometimes you have a little bit of hips and stuff like that, but most of the time it just goes flush with your hip bones. Boom. The depth at which you draw your leg is going to be just dependent on how much you want to draw it into your body. So if you have your midline, you can choose a little bit past the midline, give yourself a space for your goodies, and then draw it in. Don't worry about the muscles until later. And muscles are just, again, overlapping lines and then ballooning from the contact points. Once you find the contact point, it becomes the same thing as this, okay? Once you have this, you can draw a skinny leg or a fat ass leg, depending on whatever you feel like. It's just ballooning from the contact point to the contact point to the contact point. So you find those, and then you balloon that out to whatever style you choose. But your structure itself is really good. Your structure in itself is solid because you're making it come from a basic shape that is based on anatomy. Okay, this is just your hip bones that would connect to your spine, that would connect to your rib cage, that would connect to your collarbone. Okay, so the concept itself is to simplify these elements into very basic shapes, like, I don't know, an arrow, an egg, and the compass. And if you draw an arrow, an egg, and a compass, you have access to drawing these same things. This is the same thing as this, but this gives me a guiding point. That compass can tell me where my arm is gonna go depending on where I point it. So that compass gives me that little spacing that I need so that I can move my arm anywhere I want. And if I need my arm up, this goes up. So you move that compass up, and then you have access to drawing things up here. Okay, so your arm comes from a compass. That comes from an egg. That is your rib cage. So the compass is, each one of these is individual. So you can rotate this one anywhere you want. And if you want to rotate a character, it's as easy as just taking that compass and rotating it around your character. Okay? The egg doesn't really change much. So if you want to draw profiles, you just draw the profile version of this. The booty is always going to be extra. So if you have your leg, right? your booty is gonna be extra on top of that. It's a muscle that gets added, kind of like the shoulder. The shoulder comes after you design everything else. And that little bump comes later. It throws you off so much when you try to make that happen into your designs, right? When you're doing this, right? When you do this and you set your shoulder already, it's kind of like drawing your head and giving yourself your jaw structure right away. You're limiting your ability to be able to change anything within the structure. So if this character suddenly has to have their arm up, this structure with a circle, you have to move that whole structure up alongside with all those lines. So that's why I don't like drawing the volume of the shoulder at all until later. Once I find my structure, okay, then after that, I know that my shoulder is gonna be connected in the front and the back of my collarbone. So I go 1, 2, and then 1 for length. 1, 2, 3. And then I go curvy, curvy. Curvy, curvy. 1, 2, 3, curvy, curvy. Once I find the compass, it becomes really easy to find the rest of the stuff. You go arm, right? Then you go width. Let's give it a little bit of a shin. And then this is the collarbone still. This is not the muscle. So you have to draw your shoulder. 1, 2, 3. Curve, curve. This gives you the little overlapping lines that you need to be able to generate your shoulder. Not like that. Okay? This gives you the ability to start drawing your arm properly. So it goes 1, 2, 3. One, 2, 3. Connecting that endpoint to the chest gives you your pectoral. So from here to there, you have your pectoral muscles. That's kind of cool, huh? What are you guys getting in fights for? He said he used to do things for your vids. Forget the name. He was lying. What? Okay, you guys need to stop arguing because there's no arguing here. I freely give people like the access to drawing and taking what I teach you guys and teach it to other people and use it and stuff. You guys don't have to ask for permission to teach what I am teaching you. You don't. Like, you have full access to teaching anything that I give you. So, and make it your own, you know? Don't feel like you have to give me credit every time that you guys want to take any of my things. No. I'm giving you lessons for free for a reason. Okay? I'm giving you lessons for free so that you guys do take this knowledge and run with it. Be wild. Have fun. Okay, this took me 20 years or more to learn because I didn't have proper instruction. I didn't have proper instruction, so it took me that long to be able to get there. You don't have to do that because you have me. So instead of 20 years, you guys get it in 20 minutes. And imagine how far you guys will get in the next 20 years if I just saved you 20 years. Words of encouragement, yeah. The opposite side of the elbow. The elbows. This is your bone. Okay, let me explain the arm. Let's explain the arm, okay? So the arm, if we're gonna base it from just a little basic circle and we are going to go into our maybe mannequin, we're gonna generate some very basic arms. Okay? The arm flows from the top of your rib cage and it goes outside of your body. This can go down, this can go up, but it's always going to be linked to the side of your body. Okay? Your body has a ridiculous amount of movement. You have the ability to take these concepts and move them around any way you want. Most of the time, we struggle with this because we overcomplicate things. We want to do this, we want to do it at this level, but we don't take the time to just practice it at this little simple level. Right? If you take the time to just practice your legs coming from the side into a little circle, you're going to be able to just understand how that flow happens. Okay? And you'll be able to change the size of these things and see what happens every single time you try a new way of doing it. You don't have to be stuck drawing the same thing over and over and over. A lot of these exercises are very simple, incredibly simple, but we just need to have them dissected a little bit and explained to make them make sense. Start with a circle, go around, and then go whoosh, whoosh, and then you bring it back in. You have a leg. And you go the other way. Whoosh, whoosh. If you leave a little space in between, you give yourself your groin. You also leave yourself the ability to just connect both endpoints with a circle, and you end up with your arrow. Okay? So you can do it with an arrow, or you can do it with a circle. Deal? So it doesn't matter which way you go about it. This is a little bit more advanced, a little bit harder to understand, because this one gives you already a guideline, right? This gives you the flow of your body, and then you can just direct it. With this one, you need to understand a little bit more of that movement already. So start with this, that teaches you the flow, and then you move on to this. Let's go on to the upper body. We just make a little bit of volume on top, and we have an upper body. And here, I like to draw the head as a circle, as a compass, and then fill in the ribcage after. So find where my head is going to be so I know the spacing, and then I fill it in so I have the rest of my body. From here, my arms are going to come out of my compass, and this is the outside of my arm. This will always be the outside part of my arm, okay? Because this is the back muscle. These are the, here, let me show you guys what's happening here, okay? So when you're drawing this right here, what is happening is you're having your head from the compass, okay? Your neck is gonna go up from there. When you overlap those lines right here, you end up with the back muscle, and then this line in the front becomes your collarbone. That ends up in the middle of your neck, and then your neck muscles will connect to that as well. So what you're doing is you're simplifying this process into just a compass. This is the outside of your arm. That's why we draw the shoulder after, because it throws off the flow of this. So once we have this, our volume goes into our body. It's not the middle, this is the outside. Volume inside. And then we decide on the shoulder. Once you put your pectoral muscle, you have your arm, your shoulder, and your rib cage that create your armpit. So your compass, you have your arm, your neck. Your neck is gonna be roughly the same width as your head. So you're not gonna have to overly guess how big your head is supposed to be. It's just a little bit wider than your neck, so you can just taper your neck and get it. So you don't have to really complicate it again. You don't have to complicate it. From there, this is your back muscle. Your shoulder is gonna come from here, and this is the middle of my rib cage. The egg is gonna give me the width of my rib cage, and then my pectoral muscles are gonna come from here. My shoulder is gonna be 1, 2, 3. Connect the front with a curve, connect the back with a curve. This gives me this little pocket, okay? That provides me that little pocket in between those two muscles. From there, that point, you bring it like a U to the middle, and you have yourself your pectoral muscles. You also have that overlap between your shoulder and your pectoral muscle. Your shoulder is going to connect about halfway down the edge to your collarbone. So I like to divide it like this. The compass is 3 points, right? If the compass is 3 parts and the bottom part is 4 parts, that is the rough distribution of how your muscles work. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. That is a very base structure as to how you distribute those muscles. And that's also with women. Only women have boobs. Give bigger hip bones, you have curves. That's it. The difference between a man and a woman, the size of the hips. A bigger hip will give you more volume, and the bigger the hip is, the more exaggerated you can do that. Okay? Men, straighter. Women, curvy. Check your Insta when you get a chance. All right, I'm gonna check my Instagram right now. Let's see, what am I checking for? I don't know what I'm checking for. Oh, homework. Oh, okay, cool. Sounds good, man. Let's see. So we have talked about the hips. We have talked about the body. We have talked about the motion. We have talked about the structure. We have talked about the simplicity of building our bodies and learning how to move them without complicating them to a huge extent so that we can actually play around with this and be proud of what we do. Okay? One big component, we are all ego-driven characters. If you're here trying to learn, you love and have a big ego. You don't believe me? It doesn't matter if you believe me. That's essentially the basis of wanting to get better at art. You want to show your art. You want to demonstrate that you're good. You want to demonstrate that you can do things, right? You want people to look at you. You want people to admire you. And regardless of you believing that or not, that's just the basis of being an artist. We like that. That is why we covet. We want our originality to be shown and displayed to the world, to the masses, so that everybody can see how fucking awesome we are. So if you guys want to get a little bit of attention to your art and you guys want to be participants in my class, you guys can do these exercises and then tag me on your Instagram stories. I will share it with over 220,000 people. Okay? So if you guys want to learn and you guys want to eventually show off what you're doing, I will give you guys a small platform to be able to do so. I don't have millions of followers, but I have easily 250,000 followers. So at least 250,000 people can look at your work. So any time that you guys tag me on your stories, I reshare it. I never, ever, ever, ever not share that artwork because I love participation. I love it when you guys participate. I love it when you guys put my teachings into play. That makes me really proud. And it also helps me understand how you guys are absorbing this knowledge. It tells me a lot, and it's very helpful if you guys participate. It's really, really cool. Plus, you guys will learn a lot more. So now let me explain to you guys why some people draw their legs in different angles and shit. Okay? So how come people don't just draw their legs like this, Rod? How come everybody draws them with like weird angles and stuff? Well, this is more of a, do you repost here? Yeah. Yeah, I post all the highlights. I post all the highlights here. And then I post them on Threads, I post them on Instagram, I post them on YouTube, I post them on Facebook, I post them on forums, and I go ahead and I just save them in case I want to put them all together into like a big hard drive DVD thing later on. So they're all over the place. One thing I've learned is that it's hard to find an audience as a learning artist. Yeah, absolutely. That's why you can't do this because it's cool. You can't do it because you want attention. You have to do it because you like it. You have to do it because you love this stuff. If you start, worrying a lot about how other people will interpret your art and you worry primarily about that, it's going to affect your mental state later. It'll affect you later. Not right now, maybe, but it's going to affect you at some point because it's a detrimental way of thinking. Comparison is the thief of joy. Comparison is the thief of joy. And that will forever be I might tattoo that on myself. When you start comparing yourself to other people, you will automatically be unhappier. Immediately. It's not even a maybe. It's a absolute. So if you feel like you're anxious and you feel like, oh my God, every time that you're around people, you feel like less and stuff like that, it's because you're comparing yourself to them. And the moment that you stop doing that, the moment that you realize, hey, you're pretty cool yourself, maybe you don't need to compare yourself to others, then you get a semblance of maybe what you can possibly do later in your life, It's a fascinating thing. You got to have confidence, but it's hard to do so, when you don't get that feedback. So finding an audience sucks at first. But if you enjoy the journey and you're not really concerned about that at first anyways, and you just want to learn and share your journey with people, people will pick up on that. I have to go, but hopefully you have a wonderful day. Thank you. I appreciate you. Always hitting me with these wise words. You're a damn good therapist and art teacher. Oh, man. I used to give advice. Okay. You guys want to know a little bit of my past? So there was this forum called Silverfish Longboarding. And it was for longboard skateboards, right? So I've been a skater most of my life, and I skate longboard, downhill skating, and like high-speed skating for a very long time. I was the head group honcho for San Diego for many years. So the ability to be in forums and stuff like that was great. But I didn't just give advice and do art there. I used to give relationship advice. I was a relationship advice guru in that forum, and I haven't gotten a chance to do that again ever since then. Like, I never really pursued it afterwards, but I used to give relationship advice to people. It's funny. Like, I just took common sense and then just talked to people through base of experiences. And I've dated a decent amount of people in my life. I've been a hoe. So I have access to a little bit of knowledge. And I've also been married twice. And divorced twice. So it's an interesting situation that I find myself in with a little bit more know-how into some relationship aspects than other people do. So I used to give relationship advice, and that was before I started teaching art or even remotely knowing that I liked artwork. This much, But drawing skateboard art was always super cool. How to draw a face. So the face can be drawn like a happy face, or you can use the happy face to give you mapping for the rest of your features. So the understanding of anatomy and the placement of things is what's going to allow you to take something as simple as a happy face and make it into something cool. Some perspective, some anatomy classes, and not life drawing classes. That's a very different thing, okay? Life drawing is the concept of drawing naked people and you're like just sitting there drawing naked people. That's useful in its own right, right? But it's not necessarily the thing that's going to teach you how to draw absolutely anything. It's just not going to teach you as much as you think. Okay, it's gonna give you an idea of shadows and what you do know and what you don't know and the wrinkles and stuff like that. But it's not gonna give you really like a strong foundation for anything because they're not gonna explain to you what you're drawing. They're just gonna be like, here's the light source, now draw some shadows and try to draw it as close as you can. And that's about as much guidance as you will get from a life drawing teacher. Oh, okay, the contrapposta isn't as good. That's not what you need. As a character designer, you don't need that shit, okay? This is cool to do for fun and for rendering exercises. That's not even close to something that you need for your foundational skills at all. You know what you do need? You need to know how the muscles connect and the body connects here. So again, this is an egg, a compass, and an arrow for some hip bones. So if you just learn this, you could draw all those life drawing poses as easy as you want. And you know how they take like 20 minutes or an hour and like shit to draw? No, it's going to take you like minutes. And then you're going to be like, And you know what I do whenever I do life drawings like this? Let's pretend I'm doing a life drawing that took like 5 minutes. I don't know. What I normally do is I set my characters up with animals. So if it's like a lady that's like, posing and stuff like that, I will draw the pose. And since it doesn't really take me very long to get there, I can focus on style. I can focus on giving it like other rendering. I can focus on making a little story, or I can just do something cute and add a little silly animal inside. So that is something that I love doing. And normally at the end of the sessions, whenever I'm done, I give the people that I drew the art. And they absolutely freaking love it. They just go nuts because they're like, oh my God, you drew me with a panda. Ah! I've gotten responses that are amazing. And again, I'm not going to keep these drawings, right? I'm not going to keep them. They're just meant to teach me something. So why not just have them teach me something and then help me network with other people in my industry? Even if it is a life drawing model, might be able to be a person that gives you personal reference material, right? If you need somebody to like do a book or something like that, they might be able to help you and be able to be somebody you hire. So again, just because they're naked doesn't mean that you can't network with them. So many people have like these weird preconceived notions. And yes, you can still take those classes if you have a partner. Yes. Yeah, you're supposed to. It's not anything negative. It's not cheating. It's not anything to go look at a person and study. So that's an issue that I had with a previous partner too. They're like, well, why do you want to go look at naked women? I'm like, it's not about, no, like, what? Like, oh, God damn it. Like, insecurities, like, ruin so many things. But at the end of the day, if somebody doesn't help you in pursuing the things that you need and you like require from your career, you don't need them in your life. It doesn't matter how pretty they are. And that's a lesson that took me a long time to learn too. If the person isn't there for you, don't stay. Don't stay at all. Leave immediately. Be like, sayonara. Okay? So, remember, one thing that I would like to always remind you guys too is that you're your biggest fan. You are and will always be your own biggest fan. Okay? If you talk bad about yourself, if you are like negative about your own things, your art, you hate yourself for some reason, that's like your biggest fan constantly telling you your shit. So don't do that. First of all. Second of all, you are your biggest fan, so you have to cheer yourself on when everybody else won't. So you need to understand that you are not allowed to be a negative person towards yourself. You're just not allowed to. That's just something you just can't do. Because there is really no coming back from that. Okay? When you start feeling like that sort of feelings towards what you do, it's a very fine line from there to quitting art. That's a very minuscule line. You know, you 5 minutes and now I'm your biggest fan. Aww. Close. I'm my biggest fan. But you can be second. You guys can fight it off for a second. Let's draw a little panda in the reflection. Yeah, glasses, they're just reflecting things. So whatever you draw in the glasses can be anything outside. So let's say that you're drawing some glasses, right? And you want to make them reflective, just draw something that they would reflect. The sky, some clouds maybe some trees. I'll draw some couple ones. Okay? Whatever you decide to draw, break it up with like a line to make it streaky so it looks like it's detailed like a mountain. Streak. The glasses have frames and they have epaulets. The epaulet is the little thing that takes you down your arm. Sometimes it's in the middle, sometimes it's at the top, sometimes it's at the bottom. So some people have them where they're on the bottom. It's weird. I think a lot of bifocal people and like people with older prescriptions have some glasses like that. It's interesting. So pay attention to that if you want more accuracy in your designs. Because essentially what you're doing is just replicating and reflecting the light sources. It's a mirror. So whenever you're drawing glasses, keep that in mind. Let's give this guy glasses too. So let's see, let's draw a little sun. Draw some sand and maybe a towel. Thank you, Lainey. Thank you so much for helping promote my stuff. I do appreciate everybody that helps me out with the moderation and with the progression of the chat. You know, like if anybody's asking for a specific question and you guys know it, feel free to answer it. Don't wait for me to be able to do it. If you guys can answer a question for people, be part of the community. We have like 200 people in the chat. 200 people, that's a lot of people. And it's a lot of artists that are wanting to learn. So if you guys learn to communicate with each other too while I'm teaching, you guys are going to network, find friends. You guys are going to find like-minded people. You know, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you guys not just get better as artists, but learn how to actually survive. And that involves actually putting a little bit of effort sometimes in communicating with people outside of your normal comfort range. Okay, so if you guys want questions, you guys have answers, you guys please communicate with each other. Okay, because if we don't, then who will? And it really does come down to that. If we won't help our other friends or our other artists, who is? It's a very simple concept. But we often forget like how important it is to have a community as opposed to just thinking about generating our own individual efforts. It's very easy to just focus on us, but you know, you gotta help your community as well, because without them, you really don't have anything. Without community, without people around you to look at your stuff and want to support you as an artist, again, we're egotistical creatures, but we rely on other people's validation to be able to make sure that we are either both making something that is going to be helping us in our career and not necessarily just be something that we like that is never gonna see the light of day because nobody likes that shit. Okay? So social media for artists is beautiful because it allows you to see what's marketable and what's not. And if you're looking to make a career out of this, instead of just making it for fun, you require that knowledge. You require the ability to be able to tell if somebody is interested in what you do because of the quality of your designs or if it's because of the niche that you provide to the world. So, with that being said, my friends, I think we are at the end of our stream. We have finished the whole page, and let me talk to you guys about what we did. So, today we talked a little bit about the body. We talked about how to make this simple and how to start playing around with a simple concept as opposed to overthinking it at first. Understanding how the body flows is very important. The legs flow from the side down. The arms flow from the side to from the top to the side. Taking away any obstructions like your shoulders and your head and your neck, the actual body is relatively simple to draw. And learning how to move it is just a matter of just moving these little things in different directions so you get an idea of how much movement you can get out of these things. Okay? So homework time. Let's do some homework. Let's do some homework, Rod. All right, so homework. Our homework today is going to be the egg, the arrow, and the compass. The egg, arrow, and compass. Okay, so what does that mean? It sounds like some Narnia thing, but what we're going to be focusing on a lot is going to be these elements right here. The egg is going to be how we draw our rib cage. Okay? The compass is going to be put on top of the egg to generate your shoulder width and your collarbone and the back of your muscles and the size of your head. So that compass gives you a lot of information. Okay? Then the arrow is going to give you access to your hip bones. So once you have your compass and your egg, you're going to draw a line in the middle, and you're going to draw either an arrow and then draw two little butterfly thingies, or just draw a line and then two little circles. It can be any one of these ways. Okay? From there, your legs are going to come from there. They're going to look like they're coming at an angle, but if you just straighten those down, you have access to drawing your legs a little bit easier. Okay? From there, the movement of your legs is kind of like the movement of your arms. You can rotate these around with this circle any way you want. And when you want to get a little bit more detailed, you can stop making them simple and start making them with your actual anatomy. And when you start practicing simple, do yourself a favor and practice the hard one as well. And eventually you guys will be able to draw entire body systems with a simple egg, arrow, and a compass. Okay? And that is going to conclude our lesson today, everybody. Thank you so much for being my friends. Thank you so much for being my students. If you guys learned anything today, please make sure to take 15 minutes out of your time to make sure to draw something important or cool with this. to cement this in stone. If you spend 15 minutes after our stream drawing something that you will find valuable, aka your own characters, some like thing that has been hard before, focus on drawing something that's gonna make you proud in the next 15 minutes after our stream, and then this lesson will stay with you forever. If you don't, this lesson will be kind of cool to know right now, and then you'll just forget about it, and then you'll have to refresh everything again. So take 15 minutes out of your time. Thank me later. Invite me to your theme parks when you guys open up your theme parks, when you guys become all successful and stuff, okay? I want a fast pass too. And a churro. I want a churro. I like churros. So I want a fast pass. I want a hat because I want a hat. And I want a personalized tour by the cutest girl that you guys have. I'll be really old by then, so I'll be like this old perverted guy. It's awesome. I'll be Master Roshi. Yeah, you can tag me if you want. You guys are more than happy to tag me, share with me anything that you guys want. And yeah, enjoy your homework, enjoy your lesson, enjoy being better artists, and I'll see you guys next time in the next stream. Take care, everybody. Love you all. See you guys later. Favorite artist out.